Hello everyone. In today's episode, I'm going to introduce how to design a vegetable or fruit garden for your backyard using online resources. Since I mainly grow vegetable or fruits, I will focus on this aspect of design. Today, all the design method and materials can be obtained for free online. So after watching this video, we'll learn how to design our backyard into the organic garden for fruits and vegetables at no cost. Okay, so when designing a backyard, the first thing we need to do is to obtain a photo of your backyard. So how do we get a photo of the backyard? The first free method is quite simple. We can use something like Google Maps, right? And this is randomly chosen. It's actually a neighbor's home near mine. And then we can zoom in and out, right? And this point on the left, we can select satellite layer, and that's it. Now, for example, if we randomly select a house and zoom in to the maximum, this is a satellite image that anyone can see. This means it's actually like a aerial photo taken directly from the above of the backyard. We can take a screenshot of an image and keep that image saved. Okay? After saving it, I will introduce an app that can also be accessed online. It is free, which we can use for designing the backyard. Okay, besides the Google Map to obtain the satellite image of the backyard, another method is, well, of course, not everyone can do this. We can use a drone to take the photo. The aerial photos of the backyard from the drone have clear advantages because the satellite images usually have very low resolution. So when designing the backyard, it might be hard to accurately determine the locations. Therefore, my personal preference still tends to lean toward using the aerial image from the drone. After obtaining either the satellite image or the aerial image of the backyard, the next step is to find something called plat map. So what is a plat map? It is like the previous image we saw. This kind of image looks like something like this. It shows the layout of your community and the layout of your backyard and house, which is called a plat map. For example, in California, of course, I think different states have different place to download the plat map. In California, especially in Santa Clara County, we can search for a plat map. And this is the official site for Santa Clara County in California. Let's randomly select a place, say San Jose, just a random location. You see, we randomly find a spot. This corresponds closely with the satellite image we saw earlier. Then we can click the specific area, and we can see the different single-family house that has boundaries. After clicking it, the boundary change to green, and then we can click the accessor link and download the PDF. So why do we need to look at this plat map? What is the purpose? Because once we complete our download of satellite image, aerial photo, we really do not know the size of the boundaries. For example, just say one house, we zoom in to exam. That image has very clear and precise marking. Okay, so we can see the boundaries. They're labeled like 60, 100. These are all by feet because we are in US. We use imperial units, and this is favorable to us. It's kind of important. Okay, so now we see this image, which I took the aerial photos of my backyard before the construction using a drone. In this image, one side has a boundary, which the length we don't know. However, we can determine the length of the boundary by downloading the plat map. Then we can scale it using another app, which I will explain later for the subsequent design. Now we can see when I download this plat map, zoom in, we can see that my backyard. This red boundary line matches the previous image. Now we can see what is the length. It is 98.81 feet. Alright, so now let's talk about how to utilize these free apps available online to design your backyard. The materials are satellite map or aerial image along the plat map. So how it is done. We can use an app called SmartDraw. Actually, there are many similar apps available online. You can do a Google search and find out different apps. And these apps is free as long as we don't export them out. We can do a screenshot. The first step is create a new document in this app. There are horizontal and vertical options along with the ruler where every unit corresponds to feet, which is quite user-friendly for Americans using imperial measurements. The first step is to insert. We choose to insert a photo. Then we load the aerial photo we took earlier. At this moment, we can reduce the size a little bit. Now we place it this way. As you can see, when you move it, the background will automatically enlarge, as we move around. So let's adjust this photo to a more readable angle, which is approximately north to south. How do we do the direction adjustment? We can select this photo, then we can see there a rotation feature on the top. Click that rotation, customize 234 degree. Since I already designed this plan, prepared, it can save some time. At this point, we can see that the line represents, this particular line represents the southern fence of the wall. This means this area has the strongest shadow. As mentioned in the previous video regarding this is where it's less suitable for planting. And this is now facing south. On the opposite side, there's also a boundary. For that line, we previously evaluated it using the plat map to be close to 99 feet. Now the most important thing is to draw a straight line for this boundary. We need to draw the straight line along 98.81 feet. At this moment, we can directly input this value, and after putting down 98 feet, that's how it look. Now let's enlarge the photo. We can change the line color, of course, and change the thickness and make it red for better visibility. After enlargement, we can see now this line matches pretty well with the boundary. And after we draw all the lines, here is what it looked like. All the boundaries are drawn. And then we can add a vegetable garden or planting bed, whatever you want to call. So for instance, you can move it here and there like this raised bed. We see the raised bed is 16 feet by 12 feet by default. We can change it to 4 feet by 8 feet because the maximum width for the planting bed should. I will elaborate why a raised bed longest side should always facing east to west, running east to west. Okay. To further discuss the layout of the raised bed, there are specific considerations. So this one we can copy paste, of course. And as we can see, the second raised bed is being drawn. There are distance indicators. We can move it, indicating how large is the gap, which is typically 2 feet. And generally, the 2 feet separation is crucial because It will allow people to walk through and carry smaller cars through the distance comfortably. After drawing these two raised beds, we can add other elements like common fruit trees. We can add a fruit tree here. Now we can see the fruit tree typically require a space 10 feet by 10 feet. This implies we cannot plant too close to the fence. If we plant it too close to the fence will block sunlight, and also half of the fruits would be taken by your neighborhood. Therefore, it is reasonable for the tree to be placed about 4 to 5 feet away from the fence. Of course, by pruning and other method like potting, we can control the tree size. That can be an option, which we can add some flexibility for the designing. One more thing we want to consider is I prefer the trees not be planted in the middle of the garden because it will actually block the sunlight to raised bed or vegetable garden. Of course, if your garden is large enough without vegetable gardens, vegetable raised bed around the tree, it's fine. So for smaller yards, I suggest planting trees along the fence as the center area will be reserved to construct a raised bed. Okay, now let's see the final completed plan of my backyard. I arranged 7 trees and numerous raised beds. Of course, this arrangement a little bit crowded. If I were to redesign it, I probably won't set up so densely. And there is also a storage shed. And this is my house alongside with the raised bed. I will, and I already had, create supporting structure in the middle, which I will explain in future videos, those kind of trellis. And this is the deck. For now, let's check out some basic requirements for designing the raised bed. In the future, I will present more detailed video explaining the construction process, including specific design details of the raised beds. For now, let's just review the basic requirements. First, the width of the raised bed must not exceed 4 feet, 1.2 meter. Why is that? Because our arm length is limited. It is impractical to do a yoga stretch just to pick up a vegetable, right? You'll be feeling really tired. Second, the length of the raised bed should not exceed 16 feet, which is about 5 meters. Why? Because if it is too long, walking across the raised bed and circling it may require a long walk. We don't want to run a marathon, just because of planting. And don't estimate its distance. It can be really tiring. Third is the long side of the raised bed should ideally run from east to west. This will allow for maximum sunlight, as I have discussed in previous videos about light and shadow. So the long side oriented east-west with the short side facing north and south. Moreover, the plants which are tall should always be planted on the northern side, because in this way it can avoid blocking sunlight. If we place the tallest plant on the southern side of the raised bed, then the sunlight will be blocked for the northern plant, because the shadow will fall on the northern plants. The last point is that the distance between the raised bed must be at least 2 feet. Why is that? Because we need to maneuver through it to do work, right? And furthermore, sometimes we need to carry small cart and tool through it relatively easily. All right, so this is the final design of my backyard. We can see there are lots of raised bed, as I mentioned. If I were redesign again, perhaps I won't make so many raised bed. It feels pretty crowded, but good thing is the functionality is still pretty good. The vegetables are growing pretty well. I'm pretty much self-efficient by this raised bed, and sometimes we have more than enough that we can consume. All right, so this photo is actually the drone photos of my backyard before the construction. As you can see, things are not ranged perfectly. It's here and there, but it was still okay. And this is the photo after the construction, after the planning is executed. As you can see, things are placed pretty well. And in the middle of between this raised bed, I've covered them with red lava rocks. I personally prefer this option. In the future, I will create a video dedicated to discussing the pathways, talking about what kind of material we can use to cover the space between the raised bed. Alright, so as we wrap up the video, let's take a look at the different stages of transforming my garden from before to its final completion. And this video is before construction. And things are scattered everywhere. Okay, so this is the first stage. You can see the southern side of the garden is already begin with construction phase, and tools are scattered around, and most of the soil has not been filled yet. And you can see the frames have been set up, and the northern side of the planting area is yet to be built. The shed was already moved during this stage. This is the second stage. You can see the northern side has been built. Alright, this is the third phase. We can see most of the soil has been filled, and we also plant some young vegetable seedlings. They were transplanted. Okay, this is the fourth stage. We can see we build a arch structure along with the drip irrigation, and then we also add some lines. And this is the fifth stage. Most vegetables have been planted. Some of them already reach pretty good stage. Most of the soil is filled up, and the drip line are almost done, particularly on the north side. By the sixth phase, it's nearly its completion. I built some temporary trellis support at the end of the south, at the end of the north. Some of the vegetables are almost ready to be harvested. Looking pretty nice. And this is a stage, it was like 2 to 3 years ago, and the garden is stabilized by more robust structures. As you can see, it's like T-post with some pretty robust trellis structure on a vertical grid of the plants. Now this is the last video. As you can see, I reconstruct the support and grid again, basically changing their directions from vertical to horizontal. Now my backyard pretty much look like this. Maybe I will make some little change this year, but overall is nearly a completion. Well, this concludes this episode. If you're interested in this video, please leave your comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel, click like, and share my videos to your friends. And thank you all. I'll see you next time. In the next episode, I will talk about soil improvement or raised bed.